Right then, welcome back. And today, oh yes, today, we're going to do a setup for this absolute piece of just sculpture. The Honda, I'll get this right, what is it? A what? RC213V-S, yeah? RCV213V-S, RC213, whatever it is. RC213V-S, Honda's absolute just, oh, you want to make a MotoGP rep, do you? Just hold my beer whilst we do it properly. Absolutely beautiful V4 engine, all the trick bits. The only thing it didn't have was the pneumatic valves and probably a few other little expensive and magnesium titanium bits on it. Setup wise, well, we'd not really used it very much before, so we went to UMC, we stuck a bog standard 2 and 8. Every bike gets one of these initially, 2 and 8 setup, we graduated the gears, we put medium tyres on it, and I thought we'll just go and ride it and we'll see where the energy's going and we'll have a bit of fun. And well, things like that happened. We got absolutely just, well, wiped out. The race at Canto South is just disgusting. The amount of crashes I had were just not acceptable. But anyway, it was good when we finally got away. The length of the bike, the wheelbase, allowed it to get off the mark like an absolutely scalded cat. It just went. It took a little bit of time to get into how it wants to brake, and it moves about quite a bit. The chassis is quite forgiving, but we'll come to that in a little while. But as a motorcycle to use on this game, in all honesty, it's probably the best one I've used yet. It's not the fastest. Don't confuse fastest with best. That does not necessarily mean the same thing. It does exactly what I want a bike on this game to do. It moves about, it'll let you use the kerbs, it'll slide on the brakes, it'll slide on the power. I mean, serial number 001, how much do you think that would be worth now? The first road-going MotoGP bike from Honda, I bet that's worth a fair packet. But anyway, on the brakes, it picks the rear wheel up to let you know that you're on the limit of braking. Oh, it is just, I mean, the noise, it's very much an RC30 noise, that kind of flat bark. I am assuming it is a flat plane crank V4 as opposed to a normal sort of like cross plane crank V4. It is a slightly different sound, but it's just the notes I made, I just put almost perfect. In the days of 260 horsepower, I mean, it's not perfect, it's almost perfect. I did run wide a couple of times. 260 horsepower Panigale V4 Superleggeras, no, it is not as light and it is not as fast, but that's not the point of me saying it's almost perfect. It's just a pleasure to use. There are a few downsides to it, which we'll come on to at the end, but as a motorcycle, I mean, 2 and 8 setup on medium tyres, the way the chassis works the tyres, the way the chassis feels, and I know it's a digital interpretation of a real motorcycle. I am fully aware of that, so don't sit on your sofa or on the bus going, it's not a real bike. I know, I get that, but in the game, the way the chassis feels in the game with the physics engine is just sublime. It just reeks of quality. It just feels unlike any other bike I've used so far. After UMC, I thought this bike deserves proper tracks. So we're not going to go to Cadwell, we're not going to go to Alton Park, a place like that. We're going to do proper tracks. So next up we went to Magna Corps. I made a mess of it quite a few times. There was a few little skirmishes, we'll call them, with the AI. But again, when we got it right and we launched it, and it will use anti-wheelie 1 as well at all times. Off the line, anywhere you want it, it will use anti-wheelie level 1. You don't have to be using anti-wheelie 2 and you hear it burping and farting and cutting the power. But it was just, normally that's a crash over these curves. Hit a bike over these curves, you're in a world of trouble. But for some reason this bike was just so resilient to like abuse and just falling over, and no matter how hard I tried, I could not get past the Brazilian rider. I mean, they're on a Panigale or a Street Fighter, something of that ilk. It's a big fat Ducati V4, and I was just, no matter what I did, I mean, I was a bit cheeky there, run over the white line. This threw me. They come straight across me. I wasn't expecting them to be that aggressive and come straight across my nose, and it kind of threw me a little bit, and we ran wide. I never really caught up. The bike well, it just took everything I threw at it. Again, we made no changes. The 2-8 setup on this bike made no changes across all 6 races. We had a couple of time attacks as well, but I didn't really trouble the top. Excuse me. I didn't really trouble the top 50 very often, so yeah, it wasn't really much to write home about. But over the curbs, on the gas, it just does not care. It just does not care. It'll tighten a line, a little bit of rear brake, and it'll tighten the line quite nicely. It's just getting on the gas is where it loses. Watch that Panigale just leave me out of here. You can see the gap, it's just going up and up, and it just walks away just slightly. On the brakes, we were better. If you miss the braking point, it can be a little bit difficult. It will slide a little bit, but a little bit of rear brake and it will just pull it back. But yeah, I thought we were going to get past. I thought we were going to win this one, but no. I probably will I'll put this race up. I'll probably put another one up as well. Just do a couple this time. We ran wide up at turn 10, and then we come through this left-hander and then into the final corner at the bottom of the hill. I think it's Young Cow at the bottom of the hill. I just made a bit of a Horlicks of it, ran a bit tight, took a bit of grass, and it just slid a bit, and I thought, well, that's it now, it's done, we're never going to catch them, and they've got more performance than we have. But yeah, I may be going on about it a bit too much, but I really, really like this thing. It just ticks my boxes. It is a very, very, very beautiful, very usable, very naughty, expensive. They are 6 figures. Expensive big kit. Next, I thought, well, where do I want to go? We've done like long and sweeping. We'll go to Imola. Why? Well, it's bumpy, it's fast. The AI are just normally arseholes, and they lived up to their billing. Don't worry about that. When we finally got away, there was a little bit of bumper cars. But again, this bike just, as long as you know roughly where the braking points are, as long as you know roughly where to tip in, it'll go over the, well, you'll see in a minute, it'll go over the curbs, it'll run 250 lines, it'll V the corner off and do point and squirt, it'll do whatever you want. I mean, right round the outside of a Panigale, no problem. Let's have it. And then look at the line it holds through the hairpin at Tosa. Oh my word. Right next to the curb, get on the gas. Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a wheelie because it spun up just as we're coming out, but it is what it is. I felt a bit bad, so I let the gas off and I let at least one rider back through. But again, straight up the inside at Piratella, and it doesn't even remind, doesn't care. On the curb, down the hill, off you go. We did struggle a little bit on the brakes, like I said. I was flip-flopping between engine braking 2 and engine braking 3. Engine braking 2 didn't quite feel strong enough. Engine braking 3 felt too strong. So it was one of them weird situations where I needed engine braking 2.5, but obviously we don't have that set in, do we? So yeah, top of the hill, again, just throw it into Piratella, just takes it absolutely mega. Yeah, it's moving about a bit, you can see the suspension working, but that's what it should be doing. It should be working, it's suspension. That's what it should be doing. Look at the accuracy, it's so accurate when you want it to be. I mean, nearly a second up on the previous lap, I'll take that. But yeah, lap time wise, UMC, we got 77 for the lap time in the race, just inside the top 198th into Lagos, and we were 108th at Imola. It just lacks a bit of go, which sounds mad for an engine based on a MotoGP bike, but the game's moved on a little bit since 2015. Bikes have become much more powerful. We're smoking 200 odd horsepower before you go anywhere. So, next up, well, we went to Portimao, didn't we? Or Algarve, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, there was some interesting manoeuvres from the AI. Apparently we can just steamroller people now, and I decided to start pulling wheelies. Another clip from the AI, we ended up over the back, but just a naughty slide. See, that's engine braking 3, it just spat sideways a little bit. Absolute carnage into the first couple of corners, bikes absolutely everywhere. But again, when we got it right, the braking, there's an overtake into this first corner at the end of lap 1. It's one of the best overtakes I have ever done on this game. I was absolutely shouting at the TV when I did it. It was fantastic. But again, running into the back of bikes, I know it's not the done thing, I get it's a bit naughty, but it doesn't matter. The bike is just fantastic. On the bumps out of here, just drives forward, picks the front wheel up a little bit, and we're off. On the brakes, like I said, it just picks the back wheel up. It lets you know where the limit is. A lot of bikes don't do that. The most recent Fireblade, like the Panigales, the BMW, the first thing you know about the limit being where the limit is you're on the deck and you're either pressing, I mean, wow, well done mate, thanks for getting off. You're pressing restart, or if you use rewind, you're rewinding it. But yeah, this is the overtake. So out the last corner, it's a GSX-R 1000 in front of us, the most recent model, Portuguese rider. I thought, I'm just going to outbrake you. Bang. Look at the back wheel in there. I thought, we're never making this corner. We are never making this corner. There might have been a little bit of a run, but it's not green. It wasn't a green area, it was a grey area, so we're taking grey areas. But as an overtake, it was an absolute peach. It wasn't all sunshine. There was a little bit of a fight back from the Portuguese rider. We did run wide. It's up to turn, was it turn 12 or something? There we go, turn 12. Runs wide, the engine braking just kind of getting the bike wiggling about a bit, but yeah, we just kind of sold the AI the usual. I'll go around the outside dummy and get them to run wide, and then we ran away into the distance and tried to run and hide. We never really got too far. I mean, look at this braking into the first corner. That is just mega. Absolutely mega. If I would follow this person round rather than overtake them in a track day or a race just to see them do that. Be well worth it. But yeah, again, up to turn 12, we run a little bit deep. The Portuguese tries to come back, but now we've got it covered. We're all over it. Yeah, I really like this thing. It is a good bike. I know it might not be for everybody. I get that. My enthusiasm is sometimes a little bit excessive, and not everybody agrees, but if everybody agreed, the world would be a boring place, wouldn't it? But yeah, we won. Oh, excuse me. We won by a dizzying, 0.6 of a second in the end, something like that. But yeah, good race. I might put that one up as well, we'll see. I thought, right, we're going to Asia. We've done America, we've done Europe, we're going to Asia. It's got to be Phillip Island or Kyalami. I've done Kyalami quite a bit recently. So I thought we'll go to Phillip Island. We'll go to Phillip Island, we'll ride the bumps and the fast corners, and we'll see some good names and doings and stoners and all that lot. And again, the bike was just absolutely mega. We didn't win this one, we did not win at Phillip Island. Again on the medium tyres, the whole thing has been medium tyres all the way through. So if you're running a bit faster, run hard. If you're running a bit slower, you can run a soft. Up to the Honda hairpin on the brakes. I thought the MV was going to outbrake us, but we just encouraged them to move out of the way, and it was all good. Look at through the hay shed as well, on the curb through the hay shed. That's normally a massive accident. You're normally an ambulance after you're doing them, but no, it just takes it, and then up to Lukey Heights and over the top of the hill. Get on the brakes. It snaps sideways a little bit, but it just straightens up. Bit of rear brake, and on you go, and it's happy. We drafted past the Aprilia. I mean, the Aprilias aren't the most brickish of things, they're quite slippery, but again, a little bit more power wouldn't go amiss. We just could not catch. We could not catch the Czech rider. I'm assuming that's Czech. Is that a Czech flag? I think it is. We could not catch the Czech rider out front. They were just gone. I don't remember what bike they were on, but I was just getting nowhere near them. I was just having fun riding the curbs, putting a bit of energy through the rear tyre, sliding it about. Yeah, just listening to that absolute masterpiece of a Honda V4 engine just scream. I mean, 14,000 RPM back in the day was some serious revolutions. Right then, will it boogie? No. But what it will do is crash. This is, well, it's the biggest crash montage we've had for a while. And they were all full restarts as well, so you can imagine the absolute amount of time that I pumped into this. But anyway, when we finally got away, there was a little bit of carnage, but two things became obvious riding this bike in the wet. We've not changed anything, we've just gone to wets. One, it is unbelievably good on the brakes in low grip conditions, and two, it will not boogie. It will spin up the rear, it will take a little bit of angle, but it is not a Ducati V4, it is not anything else with a massive amount of torque or anything else. It will slide, but it will not boogie. It just will not party. What it tends to do is grip, and then it'll wheelie. You get a bit of a slide on, it grips, and then it'll pick the front end up. So we ended up in second, behind, is that an Italian flag or a Hungarian flag? I don't know. I would say with the name, that's probably a Hungarian flag, isn't it? So we'll go with Hungarian. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a Hungarian flag. We just could not catch them. It didn't matter what I did, and I thought I'll send a Hail Mary up the inside into turn 9 on the last lap, and it worked. It was putting a bit of energy through the rear, it wasn't horrific. But yeah, just nice bike to use. Fantastic noise, just a bit of exotica. It feels naughty riding it round, because there's very few people in the world who actually have. And I'm more than happy to drive it in the digital realm and ride it and enjoy it and thrash it about, and it's good. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The 6 races were fantastic. That's where we ended up. Like I said, a bog standard 2.8 setup, and it just works. Use it as a blank canvas, use it as a starting point, tweak it and twonk it. Pros and cons: very, very usable. It will do what you want. You can mould it, you can run different lines, you can ride the curbs, you can do point and squirt, you can do whatever you want. It's highly resilient. You want to smash it over the curbs, whereas other bikes you'll be off and in the gravel and rewinding or restarting. This will not do that. It will take quite a lot of curb and quite a lot of abuse before it starts to fire you off. And it's just HRC Exotica, isn't it? It's just filthy. The last thing they made that was along these lines was that NR, the NR 750. It's been that long since they've made something this filthy. Yes, they've done an RC45, but it wasn't quite the same, was it? It just wasn't quite the same. Cons: long wheelbase. And I say con, the good thing about a long wheelbase is it means it's stable mid-corner. The downside to a long wheelbase is it's quite slow rolling from side to side. It's not quite as bad as an R1, but it is quite slow. It's not actually that fast neither. It's 200 horsepower, it's a MotoGP drive bike, but it's a good 10-15 mile an hour down on the straights compared to some really modern stuff. And if you want to be quick, if you want to extract the maximum amount of speed out of it, you have got to be accurate. It will run whatever line you want, it will run as close to the curves as you like, but you have got to be so accurate. I mean, we were not troubling any of the leaderboards, and I know I'm not the fastest kid in the world, I get that, but even so, normally on a bike that's this usable, you're going to be up there. But yeah, it needed a massive amount of accuracy, and that's it. That's your lot. That's all you're getting. We've got an endurance race on a Kawasaki coming up. We've got an endurance race on an FZR 750. We've also got a setup for the ZZR 1400. Yes, I went with the ZZR 1400, and not only that, I've bought MotoGP 22. So I'm going to have a dabble with that over the weekend, and then we'll see where we're going to go with that, whether I'm going to do setups or just a bit of a career journey or whatever. But I'll give it a go and we'll see how I like it, and hopefully you'll give me some feedback. But that's it. Thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, thanks for liking. You're all legends, and fingers crossed I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe, peace.